Hey everybody, how's it going? True Evil here, and today I want to do a day 1 weapons tier list for Monster Hunter Wilds. We're going to be breaking down the weapons by how strong they are with solo play, how strong they are with groups, and more importantly, do you want a teammate to have that weapon? So, without further ado, let's break it down with the first weapon, which is the hammer. So, the hammer is a pretty strong weapon. Its whole point is to just bonk them on the head. And it's a little bit harder to do that in solo play, but if you find a good hammer teammate to just bonk them and stun them, they are a great teammate to have. Usually they're super good, but if you have like a bad hammer teammate where they like hit it in the like, why are you trying to hammer the leg, bro? Get out of here. So this weapon takes some skill, not good in solo play, but if you're good with the hammer in a party, you're a lifesaver. So I'm putting you at A tier. Now, the next weapon I want to talk about is the dual blades. Most people who use the dual blades know how offensive it is with the demon mode and everything, but the thing is most people who use it kind of act like a silver ranked league player. And what I mean by that is they think they're the greatest thing in the world when they're not that good, and they're going to blame the teammates in the chat and be really toxic. So, yeah, it's pretty good in solo play, but when you're with a party, you're probably going to die multiple times and think it's your teammates' fault, and just they're going to be super toxic. I'm going to put it in B tier because at least they're doing damage. And speaking of damage, I want to talk about this lance. The whole point of the game is to kill the dinosaur as quick as possible. Why are you trying to be a tank, bro? Like, I get if you're in a party, you want to have someone that's tanky, but like, you need to still do damage, bro. Like, get this lance out of here. C tier. Okay, the next weapon I want to talk about is the hunting horn because there's just something so magical about using a giant saxophone to whack people. It has a really fun mini game where you're stacking all the buffs, and more importantly, it's making your party members have those buffs too. So you always want to have one really good hunting horn, bro, just because they're going to make the game so much more fun, and they're usually good at the game, and they are awesome. I am putting this at S tier. Truly an amazing weapon. The next weapon I want to talk about is the sword and shield. When you see someone with a sword and shield, they're probably just starting the game out. What I mean by that is it doesn't do as much damage all the other things, and it has a little bit of defense. And defense in Monster Hunter is crazy because the whole point of defense is you're staggering them so much that they're on the ground. That's your defense, bro. If you're blocking with a shield, I don't know what you're doing, but you're probably new and not actually nailing your blocks right. You're going to be dying like once, but at least you're trying not to die. I'm putting it at B tier because on the dual blade guy will probably do more damage, but he's going to die 2 times, whereas the sword and shield person's still going to die once. Get these noobs out of here. Now, speaking of noobs, I'm going to talk about the Gunlance, where the Gunlance is a weapon that is, you think it's cool because you're like in your 30s and you played Final Fantasy 8 and Squall has that gun blade. It sounds super cool, right? Until you realize this thing isn't offensive, it's a defensive weapon. And the whole point of the game, once again, kill the dinosaur as quick as possible. C tier. Now, the next weapon I'm going to talk about is the longsword. Do you like playing the video game Devil May Cry? Do you like playing the video game Devil May Cry with dinosaurs? Then this is the weapon for you. Not only that, it's great in solo play, it's great with a party, it's just like a good weapon, bro. S tier. Let's have some more of it. And I just love how maneuverable the weapon is. Speaking of maneuverability, let's go to the insect glaive. The insect glaive is like the longsword, except it has too much maneuverability and not enough like girth to it. And what I mean by the girth is it doesn't do as much damage. You're going to be moving around, but most of the time you see someone with this, they're going to get whacked a lot and they're going to die. And I don't know, bro, why aren't you using the longsword? C tier. Next weapon I'm going to talk about is the light bowgun. It's arguably the best secondary gun in the game because of how easy it is to target specific points on the dinosaur. Most people are going to have this as their secondary weapon. It's super boring, but it's super good. S tier. The next weapon I want to talk about is the Charge Blade. Now, if you see someone with the Charge Blade, even though it's really good for solo content, really good for party content, this person is probably played every Monster Hunter. They're super serious. They're not here to have fun. They're here to grind, and they're kind of like not fun to be in the party, you know? So, if you're trying to have a good time, don't play with someone who's playing with a Charge Blade because they are a meta slave. A tier. The next weapon I want to talk about is the Switch Axe, which the Switch Axe is just like the Charge Blade, except it does a little bit more damage, a little more offensive. But the thing is they're probably not that meta slave. They're probably more chill, relaxed. You would want them to come to the party with you. So I'm putting this at S tier. The next weapon is the bow. The bow is arguably the best weapon in Monster Hunter Wilds, but the thing is like, you can use a gun, bro. Like, why are you using a bow? Like, if you're going into a fight, would you rather have a bow or a gun? Case in point, C tier. Next weapon I want to talk about is the Great Sword. The Great Sword, I would put it at like B and A in all the other Monster Hunter games, but in this one, the combat is a little bit more fluid and refreshing, and the Great Sword just has all the tools you need, so much maneuverability, so much damage. It's easy to punish the dinosaurs. It's just such a great weapon now, where it has to be A tier. And the last weapon I want to talk about is the Heavy Bowgun. The Heavy Bowgun is super fun to play in parties, but it's not that good for solo play. So, I'm going to put it at B tier because I think it's better than all these other weapons in the B tier, but you don't have that good of maneuverability, so it's a pain to play it in solo queue. But with a party, you can dish out a lot of damage, but you're moving kind of slow. It's better to just use one of the other weapons and switch to a light bowgun, or just use the bow instead. But, it's still fun because it's a giant Gatling gun. Like, what's not to love? So, there you have it. That is the definitive weapons tier list for day 1 of Monster Hunter Wilds. Hope that helps you sleep at night. True Evil over and out.